Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay. Not really talking about sales today again. That seems to happen an awful lot. Last couple of days have been okay. Some interesting books going out. I've got a big auction for the Philip Pullman book finishing tomorrow, so excited to see what happens with that. But I went out yesterday and grabbed just a handful of books, but not to sell. These ones are for me, so it's a wee book haul. There's a few authors and books that I'm trying to collect, like I'm trying to get my George Martin hardback collection going. All I've been able to find so far is Dance with Dragons, but I'll keep looking. What I did get yesterday was 5 books from two authors which I thoroughly enjoy reading. I thought I'd just share them with you, see what anyone else thinks. First up, we've got Robert Harris, An Officer and a Spy, and Act of Oblivion. Robert Harris, I think, is brilliant. He writes techno thrillers, he writes historical fiction, he writes more straightforward thrillers, spy thriller. He writes all sorts, sci-fi. You know, the Second Sleep, another brilliant book. So whenever I see his books that I haven't read, I pick them up. I've got V2 sitting on the shelf as well, but it's been sitting there for a while. But I got Act of Oblivion, which seems to be 1660. Colonel Edward Wally and his son-in-law, Colonel William Gough, crossed the Atlantic. They're on the run and wanted for the murder of Charles I. Under the provisions of the Act of Oblivion, they have been found guilty in absentia of high treason. So, it's a book about the guys that killed Charles I, tracking them down. I don't know how recent this one is. Where did it come out? 2022, so it's, I think, almost his newest book. So I've got this to add to the list. When I will actually get to it, I'm not entirely sure. But you know, Fatherland, brilliant book. Enigma, Archangel, Pompeii, Imperium, The Ghost, Lustrum, The Fear Index, An Officer and a Spy, Dictator, Conclave, Munich, The Second Sleep, V2. I've read most of those. I say I've got V2 sitting on the shelf to read. They're all standalones, so you can read them. I mean, any book that you want of his, you just pick one that kind of takes your fancy and you get stuck in about it. His historical fiction books, Pompeii, Imperium, Lustrum, all absolutely brilliant. Really love those. The Dictator, that's in there as well. Conclave was fantastic, all about the Pope. The Second Sleep, I say a bit sci-fi, post-apocalyptic world type thing, but really well written. V2 I've still to read, so we've got Act of Oblivion, which I'm looking forward to, but that's probably going to be a kind of end of the year book. And An Officer and a Spy, so one of these slightly older books, which I missed out on at the time. When was this? 2013, so yeah, 10 years this one's been sitting about and I haven't got to it yet, but it looks good. January 1895, on a freezing morning in the heart of Paris, an army officer, Georges Picquart, witnesses a convicted spy, Captain Alfred Dreyfus, being publicly humiliated in front of 20,000 spectators, being death to the Jew. So, seems to be another based on true. Narrated by Picquart, An Officer and a Spy is a compelling recreation of a scandal that became the most famous miscarriage of justice in history. So yeah, looking forward to that one. I'll probably read that after Act of Oblivion, maybe after V2 as well. But delighted to find both of those books for, well, 3 for £1. So 66.66666 repeat pence for those. Excellent. Next, that was Robert Harris. Next, we've got Gregg Hurwitz. I've probably mentioned Gregg Hurwitz a few times because I do love the Orphan X series, and I've picked up 3 of these that I've been looking for, so I'm I've read up to the one before this, which is Into the Fire, I think. Then we've got Prodigal Son, Dark Horse, without a dust jacket, but I don't really care because this is for me to read, and The Last Orphan. So these are the next three. Orphan X, he's a former Black Ops guy who's quit his job. Yeah, right. And he now goes a bit A-team, you know. If you need help and you can find him, give him a call and he'll help you out, whilst dealing with his own shit at the same time. But really, really good. None of this has to be a giant guy. I mean, I love Jack Reacher, but this guy ain't Jack Reacher. He's just a weapon, designed as a weapon. He'll beat anyone. There's none of this, oh, will he overcome the odds? It's nah, man, he's going to smash it. But he's kind of a nice guy as he does it, rather than just being a big immobile lug. So yeah, really looking forward to those. I try and put off reading them, because if I've got 3 books there in order, I'll just read all 3 in a row and you end up not enjoying them as much. So I'll get any Prodigal Son probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm reading Stephen King's Holly at the moment, so I'll finish with that. There's another couple of things I'd quite like to read before getting on to the pulp fiction of Gregg Hurwitz. Then I'll be reading Prodigal Son, and probably straight after that I'll get on to Dark Horse, and then probably straight after that I'll read The Last Orphan. But I'm going to try not to do that. I'll try and space them out a wee bit, because I don't know if he's got any more of these coming, or if that is the final one in the series. So something to look forward. Anyway, that was yesterday's wee pick-up haul. Delighted to find those 5. That'll keep me going for a good few weeks, as well as plenty others in the shelves behind, which I've got there to read for myself. Hopefully pick up a few more books today, but they'll be for selling. Anyway, that's all for now. If anybody's interested in any of these books, I'll leave links to them in the description so you can go and find your own copies. I do have a few Harris and Hurwitz books for sale through the shop. In fact, I think I've got some of those already up for sale in different formats, but I've been looking for copies for myself, and they're the ones that I have grabbed for now. But I'll leave links to the eBay store where you can go and see if I've got any of these copies, or lots of their other titles available, and links to those individual books on Amazon in case anybody's interested in them. That'll make it slightly easier for you to find, or you can just ditch that and bang it into your phone and do it yourself. Excellent. Right, that's all for today. Quickie. Love you. Bye.